we discuss very vital topics of which is not discussed in the society, and we have wonderful speakers here coming every week. So we welcome all of you, and we request speakers also if we can come forward. So we have a very wonderful topic today. We are going to have we are going to hear from 4 wonderful speakers about a very wonderful topic. So today's topic, anybody can tell me loudly? Yeah, glories of Vedic Society is mentioned there, but anybody remembers what was the share in the poster? So today's topic is Vedic prosperity versus modern day scarcity. So we have with us Santosh Aditya Prabhu. Prabhu, please have a seat. We have with us Shri Gopal Prabhu, and we have with us Satya Srinivas Prabhu. And one more speaker will be joining. Yeah, so we have His Grace Udayananda Prabhu. So I request all the speakers to sit down, sit on the dais. You can sit from that side. You can come from there. You want to have a microphone?
Get it closer. Yes, I'll make it a little forward. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of us are staying in a modern day. We are using modern gadgets. All here gadgets are up to date. And we are going to discuss about the modern day scarcity versus Vedic prosperity. And all devotees present here, the speakers, they have seen this world what we have not seen. They are quite realized. Their experience is minimum 15 years of work experience in the companies. They have dealt with so many clients, so many employers, and after that, everything, you see them in a simple attire where they are going to show us the reality. Generally, we see the reality in the media, that how the modern technology and how the modern world has been progressing. So we are going to have 4 panel members today. Each of the panel member will be is given a specific topic, and they'll be sharing with us for 15 to 20 minutes. And after all the speakers speak, so we'll have a Q&A. And I request all of you that please spend your time to the best level and ask questions, because getting all 4 of them together is a great challenge. So, yeah. So, can we display introduction of Shri Gopal Prabhu? So, you'll be starting, Prabhuji? Shri Gopal. So, we have Shri Gopal Prabhu with us. Prabhuji is sitting here. So, Prabhuji has done his BE Computers from NIT Jaipur. He is handling as a technical manager for more than 18 plus years in product based companies. Prabhuji has very technical expertise in electronic design automations, I am from an ENTC background. I know how it is difficult. That's why I choose this profession, I think. And he not only has a very good technical knowledge, but he trains new people. He likes table tennis and traveling. Prabhuji was earlier working in Xilinx. Now is working in a Siemens company. So we'd like to welcome him by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! A kind request to the participants, you can come little forward because this hall is not going to be sufficient for the participants. More and more devotees will be coming, so you can come forward. Hare Krishna.
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, good evening everyone. So I will talk about glories of Vedic society. So the first part of this presentation will talk about how the Vedic society used to work and what was it the basis of the Vedic society. So first of all, when we talk about Vedic society, what does it mean? Actually, Vedic society means that it was based on Vedic scriptures. So as it's not coming.
It's not projected.
Yeah, perfect. Right. So there is a general saying, right? The technology will always let you down. So these glitches are expected. Okay. So let's start. So when we talk about Vedic society, what do you mean by Vedic society? So Vedic society was something which was based on the Vedas. So what are Vedas? So this gives these are the different Vedic scriptures. Basically, we have 4 Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Atharva, and Samaveda. Then we have Upanishads. There are 100 Upanishads, and the literal meaning of Upanishad is to sit close and hear. So people used to sit with someone who had knowledge or who was the master of knowledge, and they used to understand that knowledge from them. And then we have Puranas and Itihasas, which are basically historical recordings. And they generally, like Mahabharat and Ramayana, these are all Itihasas, right? They record historical recordings and try to explain lofty concepts in a simple and easy manner so that general people can understand them. And then we have the crown jewel and of the Vedic knowledge, the Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of God. So based on these Vedic scriptures, we had the Vedic Society. So the Vedic Society used to follow the teachings and knowledge from these Vedic scriptures. So now what is the general understanding about Vedic scriptures in today's world? Now, today we consider that Vedic knowledge is simply a myth, and it contains some stories with some moral instructions. People don't. People think that Vedic scriptures are just a myth, and there is nothing practical in them. That you cannot use this Vedic scriptures in practical life, in our day-to-day life. And they also have a perception that spirituality is irrelevant, and it's an irrelevant concept and has no practical meaning, and hence there is no benefit of it in one's life. So this is what is the perception today of the Vedic scriptures. But this is not true, and I'll come to that, why this is not true, and how Vedic knowledge has such a wide gamut of information and principles which we can use in our day-to-day life. So it teaches us a lot of things, and the Vedic Society was based on these Vedic scriptures. So basically, Vedic scriptures contains two types of knowledges. One is aparavidya, and the second is the paravidya. Now, aparavidya is what is called as, what we know today as the modern material knowledge, or advanced scientific concepts, theories, and practices. It also talks about the economic development. So the Vedic scriptures do contain information and do provide knowledge about the economy and about arts, humanities, and all this. And then there is something called as paravidya, which is from the realm of absolute truth. It goes beyond this material world, and it talks about values and the culture of values, and it talks about higher wisdom, where we try to inquire about who we are, who is God, what is this material nature. So Vedic scriptures basically provide this two knowledges, and as you can see, they are very practical, right? They talk about our day-to-day life. They do talk about that we have a practical challenge, that we have to earn money and make a living. So they definitely talk about it, and they also talk about something which is beyond this material world. So the Vedic scriptures are pretty detailed and deep, and studying them gives you a perspective, or gives you some the knowledge and the perspective which will help you to make your life happy. It's a simple thing, right? We buy any gadget. You buy any gadget, it comes with a manual, right? Any gadget you buy, be it a small mobile, a washing machine, it comes with a manual, the instruction manual. So the Vedic scriptures are these instruction manual for our life, which God has given us to help us to lead a peaceful and happy life. So it is this particular manual which will help us in our day-to-day life. Now, Vedic scriptures define a very important concept of dharma, and that's the keyword in Bhagavad Gita. Dharma is one of the keywords in Bhagavad Gita, and dharma has a variety of meanings. It can mean duty, it means activity, it means purpose. For example, what is the purpose of water, right? So it talks about that. It talks about work. It talks about your inherent nature. It means inherent nature, and it also means quality, right? So dharma actually encompasses all of this. So the Vedic scriptures clearly define this, that what is dharma, and they provide insights into this. And the Vedic society was basically based on Varnasrama Dharma. So this was the guiding, this was how the Vedic society was structured, that they used what is called as Varnasrama Dharma. And it's something which is most misunderstood, because we think that it is based on birth, and it is used to basically distinguish between different kinds of people or create divisions in the society and so on and so forth. Then it's actually not based on the division according to the birth, but it based on various occupational duties. So based on what you do defines, your occupational duty or your dharma defines who you are, rather than where you were born or to whom you were born. Then actually the Bhagavad Gita clearly states this in Shloka 4.13 that Varnasrama Dharma is based on guna and karma, right? So the Vedic scriptures clearly state that it is not based on birth. Then Rig Veda actually compares this Varnasrama Dharma to our body. For example, the head is compared to the Brahmanas, the hands are compared to the Kshatriyas, the belly is compared to the Vaishyas, who are the traders and producers, and the legs are compared to the Shudras, the working class, and the artisans, who serve the other three varnas. Now this classification actually is not discriminatory. It is based on your inherent ability. Somebody has an ability to study or to gain knowledge, so they could qualify as Brahmanas. There is a big list of qualifications for a Brahmana, qualifications for Kshatriya, qualification for Vaishyas, and even for Shudras. So and anybody, it is a flexible system where anybody can move up, and anybody who does not follow or cannot actually qualify for that particular varna can come down. So it's not a rigid system where if you are born in a Brahmana family, you become a Brahmana. So it was by qualification rather than by birth. Now, what this Varnashrama system helps with. So if you observe, if you engage people according to their nature and according to their physical ability, it has several benefits, right? So one of them is it provides you job satisfaction, because you are doing something which you are capable of, and you will enjoy doing it. Otherwise, in today's world, what we see is certain professions are glamorized. Like you look at doctors, engineers, maybe CAs. So there is a cutthroat competition for somebody to become that, and that leads to anxiety, that leads to a lot of problems. But the Varnashrama system used to identify people based on their ability, and hence it provides them with job satisfaction and security. And then it avoids needless competition, as I said, right? Certain people qualify for a certain thing, and hence you don't compete with each other for the same thing. You based on your ability, you go into a particular profession, and then it naturally satisfies everybody's material needs, right? You are naturally earning money without being forced to do something which you are not capable of or you don't have inclination for. So this Varnashrama system actually provided these benefits. So people would get trained in their particular vocation and would become experts in their field. Hence, if you look at our ancient India or Vedic society, you had people who were very, very expert in, like you had expert goldsmiths, you have expert people who could design and develop and make things really, really good. Right? You look at our temples around in India, they are superbly built, and they were built because people were properly trained into their profession, right? So that's an advantage, right? You don't have competition, and everybody is actually satisfied and happy with what they are doing. Now, the major challenge and the first question which people have is, do we see currently, if you look at the divisions of the society, people are exploiting each other. The caste system in medieval India, we saw that people were actually exploited, right? Brahmanas started exploiting people, and started taking undue advantage of people. So how did this Varnashrama system actually avoid exploitation, or the Devi Varnashrama system avoid exploitation? First of all, it considered people, I mean, irrespective of your social position, everybody was, I mean, materially you are all different, but spiritually we were all equal, and it treated everybody as, spiritually everybody are servitors of God. That was the basic principle of the Varnashrama Dharma, that materially we are all different, but spiritually we are all servants of God. So that was the fundamental concept of the Varnashrama system. Then the second thing was the most powerful Varnas, or the powerful social classes were renounced, were the most renounced in fact. So Kshatriyas and Brahmanas, the Brahmanas used to accept voluntarily poverty so that they could continue in the service of God. They did not amass wealth, or they did not gain any position or power. So they were very renounced. And Kshatriyas also considered themselves as somebody who inherited the kingdom of God, and they are serving God by administrating that kingdom. So they merely considered themselves as servitors of God by administrating the kingdom, and they did not consider themselves as proprietors of the kingdom. So the powerful social classes considered themselves very renounced. So in this way, I mean, at a certain age, they had to give up all this and start, I mean, they started focusing on their self-realization. And the Varnashrama system clearly, I mean, reconciles this, right? So you can clearly see that we consider everybody as spiritually equal, but there are material differences. So that is what helped the system to avoid exploitation. But when did it start going down? And that's when people, or the Brahmanas in the medieval India, they started thinking that it is their birthright. I mean, birthright made it all wrong. That system collapsed after people thought that it is their birthright to be somebody. If I am born in a Brahmana family, I am a Brahmin. So this concept brought about the downfall of Varnashrama system, and it was aided by the invaders who came into India to actually loot people, right? So since this system was working very well, they wanted to break this system so that they could exploit people and loot people, right? So the Britishers, the Mughals, they started actually encouraging this, that make this as a birthright, and they wanted this system to collapse. So if you look at, I mean, what was the outcome of this Varnashram? Why is this so successful? If you look at India, India was considered as a golden sparrow, right? And right from like 3000 BC to 10 AD, I mean, we have some history where it is clearly recorded that India was the richest country in the world. And one of the major reasons was this Vedic system of Varnasrama Dharma, where people were happy and prosperous. So the system worked very well, and so India was the largest economy by till 10th century AD. And after that, we saw that some invaders started coming and attacking India, and slowly by 15th century, still 15th century also, India was the largest economy, and then it ceded the position to China. And that's when the Varnashrama system also collapsed, and then the exploitation and this started. So that was the main thing actually. And there is a statement by the British economist that India's economy started collapsing after it was captured by British, right? This is he's a very famous British economist, and he clearly mentions that India's economy collapsed after the British rule. So the Vedic society or the Vedic culture is actually a way of life. It's Sanatan Dharma, and it's a life which is guided by the supreme truth. And it's a collection. I mean, it's not just about material happiness or material experiences, but it is also about spiritual experiences, which are actually meant to uplift us from the darkness of ignorance, and give us that real knowledge, and make us understand our constitutional position of who we are and why we are here and what is this material world. So the Vedic culture or the Vedic way of life actually allowed us to explore this area, which is like not explained in any other scriptures or in any other system of belief, to the extent which it is explained in and put in the details as in the Vedic scriptures. So the Vedic society, I mean, the highlights of the Vedic society was it was sustainable, right? We always lived with peace with nature. We never exploited people. The women, the children, the old people were all protected properly, and I mean, we did not even exploit animals. Forget about exploiting each other. The Vedic society or the Vedic culture did not allow for exploiting the animals or mistreating them. It was a simple, simplicity was the way of life, simple thinking and high living. That was what is the main motto or the crux. And then there was sufficiency, right? We had a lot of food grains. There was no shortage. No, I mean, nobody used to be hungry during Vedic times. Now, if you look at the modern society, I mean, despite of all the technology, they cannot solve a simple problem of hunger. I mean, you can see there are, you have the earth produces so much grains, but still people are hungry. So modern technology or the modern society, though we think it is advanced, cannot solve such simple problems. And spirituality was very much emphasized in the Vedic society. So this was the crux of the Vedic society. And so the conclusion or the glories, I mean, when I say glories, the conclusion is like the Vedic culture actually represents the epitome of advancement. It was very, very advanced. It was a very advanced society, both in the field of matter, I mean, in terms of economic development, in terms of material prosperity, and also in terms of the field of spirit, right? When people had a very good understanding of the purpose of their life, they understood that why they are here and what they need to do to be able to make progress in their life spiritually. So that understanding and concepts were very clearly available to people, and we had, I mean, Vedic society had great mathematicians, scientists, doctors, all of this, but they were all grounded in the fundamental values of Vedic wisdom, that we are all servitors of God, and the talent and the talent given to us is to be used in the service of others rather than trying to exploit each other. So that fundamental concept was always ingrained in the Vedic society. Then, as I said earlier also, it believed in simple living and high thinking. And the culture provided, I mean, not just material experiences, but beyond that. So we had a higher and deeper spiritual experiences and understanding of the world around us. So that was what was the glory of the Vedic society, that not just being materially prosperous, but also had a very high and deep understanding of the spiritual realm. So that is what I wanted to present and say. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we have Shri Gopal Prabhu with us. Now means Prabhuji spoke. We have 3 more devotees with us, and I'll quickly give introduction for all 3 of them. So we have Santosh Aditya Prabhu. Prabhuji is here now. Prabhuji is going to speak now?
Yes. Apologies for that.
So Prabhuji is a technical manager at Electronics Corporation of India. Earlier I thought this seems to be some new company. Then I remembered this is ECIL. All of us are well known with that. So Prabhuji has done his MTech in CAC from Osmania University, then MS in software systems from BITS Pilani. Prabhuji has work experience of 12 years in software development in nuclear, aerospace, defense and security domains. He has worked in ECIL, airport, and he handled he was taking care of uh, customers like BARC and Airports Authority of India. So Prabhuji also has quite experience in embedded systems development, and he actually, in case means one thing common in all four of them is that after coming across this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, they spend their so much time of the week in giving sessions, in talking to people and encouraging them to take up this uh, knowledge. So we have Santosh Aditya Prabhu. So next is with us Satya Devata Prabhu. Prabhuji is Executive Vice President and Global Head at Lorhan. Prabhuji has completed his CA, CWA. He is a certified global business leader from U21. Is under 21? U21 Harvard. Yeah. And Prabhuji has a extraordinary experience of 24 years in auditing, technology, consulting, research industries. He has uh, he has handled projects of budgets of 40 million US dollars. So you can see in so many companies Prabhuji has worked, PwC, Gartner, Zensar, and he has managed a workforce. Workforce means the employees from 20 countries, 20 nationalities. So he also worked as an Indian diplomat for United Nations, and he has a very strong program management experience. So this is what you call the technological experience Prabhuji has. At the same time, he has a very devotional experience where he extends his time. Today is a Saturday. Not only they have come to present here, but they prepared the presentation and spent so much time in preparing the content. And all of us know how much we love Saturday, Sunday. Really? Anybody is there who does not love Saturday, Sunday? Except Monday to Friday. We love Saturday, Sunday so much. So we are very grateful to Prabhuji for joining us here. And we have lastly Udayanand Prabhu. Udayanand Prabhu works in Microsoft. This is yesterday only Prabhuji told me that this is a what you call previous version of introduction. So Prabhuji previously was working as a senior manager at Broadridge Financial Solutions. He is a data science and machine learning enthusiast. Worked previously for Deloitte and Oracle. All of these companies are in our list, na? Dream companies. I remember when I was preaching in BITS, I was so that time they used to call people used to call some companies at dream job. But yeah, so and also Prabhuji was AR 11 in GATE 2005. He has done his engineering from IISC, received this is Abuja's Abuja's Young Research Award in 2005. He has experience of more than 15 years in software engineering and consultancy. He has managed projects which uh, were volume of 80,000 hours. He also led Oracle Fusion application engagements across globe. He has also published his papers in international journals. There are two journals where he published. he has an interest in music, teaching, then developing algorithms and playing badminton. So, so we are very happy that actually this is not only they spend time like this. They have a farm called Vaishnava Seva Kunj, where they are spending their time in developing that. At the same time, they go to villages to give out knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. You know, means somebody who is a very much uh, staying in a modern era, going to village. I remember people going to village, and when they smell the smell of what you call cow dung, so they run away sometimes. But all of them go door to door sometimes and teaching, giving Bhagavad Gita to people. So all of them, as a part of as they are a team, they do such activities and spend their time. So I'd like to welcome all of them by loudly chanting 3 times, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So coming back to the session, we have Santosh Aditya Prabhu, who is going to speak on modern society, glooming ills and evils. Hari Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible to all of you? Yes. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing such a nice forum. Secondly, I would like to thank each and every one of you for kindly participating and enthusiastically listening to today's session. So, according to one research, presently in 2022, the average age of India is 29 years. So, we all fall in the category of that. So, tomorrow's future, the future of India, the future of entire world lies in your hands. But as we have seen the glories of the Vedic society, we have already seen how glorious the Vedic society is. But unfortunately, we are falling prey to the modern society. There is something lagging. As you see the topic of the day, it is Vedic culture and modern scarcity. So we will see about the second portion of this session, the modern scarcity. So what is lagging? So in order to understand what is lagging in the modern society, we have to understand how the modern society is going toward. So we all know, every one of us want to live. Nobody want here think of death. Everyone to live more and more and more, even beyond 100 years. So in the Vedic society, we all know, average we will say 100 years. Average human life is 100 years. But that was during the Vedic times. But presently, if you see the research, our average lifespan is 60 years. So day by day, if you see the number of hospitals coming up, and people in the hospitals are mainly youth. So why is that happening? The duration of the life has shortened down. So what is making that life shortened down? In spite of me thinking that I want to live more, it is firstly because of our poor eating habits. So we eat a lot of food. Everyone likes food. So we eat a lot of food. If we given a chance, we eat 24 hours. Whatever comes in our way, we try to eat it, irrespective of knowing whether it is good to have it or not. So not only that, we eat a lot of junk foods. So if you go out of the street, you see a lot of junk food and people eating there. So this is one of the major reason our life has come down. It increases a lot of cancers, blood pressures, and so many diseases. So first thing is our eating habit. The second thing is the artificial standard of living. So we know that nature is good for us. It gives so many greenery. Greenery is good for our health. It gives oxygen. But what happens in the modern constructions, modern buildings? We keep artificial plants. So we are looking for the beautification. So what happened because of that? You have cut supply of oxygen. You have cramped of our living spaces. Not only that, the food which we are eating also, the healthy food which is coming is all artificial. So many adulteration is going on. So we are accustomed to that artificial standard of living. means not, we are not living as per our own which we are supposed to be living. So this is reducing the lifespan. The third thing is we are overly dependent upon the mercy of the others. So our happiness is dependent upon the acceptance by the general people. Our remote, our happiness, control of happiness is given to others. If others accept it, then we are happy. So we try to do so many things. We run here and there. We are like donkeys, let's say. So forgetting where we are going. The happiness is within us. It's not within the acceptance. So this is creating anxiety. There's a lot of stress. Because of stress, our duration of life is coming down. In spite of science being so developed, so many medicines coming up, so many things coming up, but the average life is still 60 years. So this is what it is lacking in the modern society. The second most important thing is laziness. We tend to procrastinate everything, especially those who are studying or just passed. You can can understand how many of us prepare for the exams a month before. Yes, so a few hands are rising up. It's a very good habit. So we should get prepared for the exams well in advance. But most of the people, they prepare. Earlier in my days, it was one day, the night before. But now it is 1 hour before, or the shortcuts. Give me some important questions and I'll write it. So we have a tendency to procrastinate everything because the laziness is there within each and every one of us. Given a chance, we will be like this fellow who's sleeping on the couch, eating nice food stuff, watching movies, and having coke. So we are all lazy, both materially and spiritually. We don't want to work. Even when speaking about laziness of the spirituality, so we as a humans have a responsibility of being self-realization. We are lazy for that. We don't want to know who we are. What is this material world about? So why, first of all, why am I here? What is my purpose of existence? How many of us, how many of the people in the modern society are interested in this self-realization? It is said we do this after 60 years or maybe after some time. So when there is youth, when we have the lot of energy, we have to best use our entire energy to know who we actually are. We are learners now. So we have to learn who we are, what is my existence. But today's modern society is lazy for getting that. So why we have become lazy? So what is the cause of laziness? It is because of our modern education. So as Prabhuji has spoke about the Vedic education, Varnasrama education, according to the nature. But what is modern education is all about? It is transforming a person into an ass. So what happens? So we go to school, we take birth, we go to school. After passing the school, we'll go to graduation. After graduation, we'll go to for post-graduation. So when post-graduation finishes, we beg for jobs. So where do I get the job? Give me some job? Give me some job. So what we'll do after job? We'll work like an ass. So simply working for some money, some uh, promotions, some recognitions. Yes, these are all good, but this is not all in all. If our focus is about only this, it is like an ass mentality. But our education, you all know about it. So mugging up. So everything is based on a memory based, not on conceptual based. So put a lot of information, especially in the school, put a lot of information and vomit in the examinations. So is there any transformation happened because of our education right now? No transformation. So we have lots of information, but ultimately there is no transformation. We have to transform into a human being. The illiteracy is not a reason, no more. Earlier, people might say, earlier our ancestors are illiterate, but if you see the percentage of literacy, it is more than 60 to 70%. Average is 60%. So most of the people are knowledgeable, especially in US. You see, daily, almost on an every month, there is a shootout going on in schools. US children are holding guns. So what is the use of a gun for a child? Why is the metal detectors installed in a school? It's okay when we install metal detectors in a parliaments, but what is the reason behind the metal detectors for in a school? Aren't they educated? Not only that, we see lot of you all know smoking is injurious to health. Every movie, first they will show on the cigarette packet, it is clearly shown. But who are drinking that cigarettes? The high class educated people. Can't they read English? So it is clearly indicating that there is something lacking in our education. This is what the our modern society is going towards. And not only that, if you see the science, we are boasting about our science. Yes, we have gone to moon, we have gone to Venus, Mars, or we may go to Pluto as well. That's all good. But what happened? The science is giving the half knowledge. So we all have read in our school days. So people used to discover Earth was a flat plate. After that, it was discussed about, it was identified as round in shape. So is the education given during the first half wrong? It is half cooked. So they are slowly evolving. They said we are evolving, but we are not evolved. Anybody of you would like to have a half cooked food? Nobody will likes half cooked food. Even if it's slight salt less, we shout. But how are we accepting the half cooked knowledge? We all know, we are taught in our education, man came from ape, a monkey, by Darwin. But after so many years of education, the science has recognized that it is not true. The Darwin theory is false. He lacked some concepts. But what happened? What is the effect of that education? Who have passed that? Okay, the generation coming forward may have good education, but what about the parents who have read about that education? That man has come from ape. Though we don't hear in our science classes anymore, but our parents will try to say man is from ape. So anybody of us would like to accept our grandfather is an ape? It is very difficult to accept that. So our modern education is based on atheistic indoctrination because of everything atheism. This is not God centered. We all want to try to prove our own egos. So what happened? So when we have knowledge, the war should come down. It is said by Michael Renner in his book, Ending Violent Conflicts, that the 20th century alone, 20th century has seen 3 times more wars than the previous recorded wars. If we are so much educated, why these wars are happening? So because of that, mental illness has started. When this war happens, if you see the western side, the Syria, all those things, the war is happening. So there is something lagging within our modern society. Our education system is lacking it. The, the modern society is a victim of misguided men. Misguided men and misguided teachers. So we all know every country has missiles. So when we launch that missile, it goes and act precisely, it falls there. I have seen, so in my own career, I have seen so many developments in the missile technologies. So it is very precise. So there is no chance of error. So how can that missile hit until unless it is guided by some computer inside it? So there is some guidance for the missile to hit precisely. But where is the guidance who switches on the missile? There is no guidance for the person. The person switches on and the missile launches. Missile has that guidance, but people has no guidance. That is what Martin Luther King has said: misguided men and guided missiles. So what is happening? There is a concept called blind leading the mind. So what is this blinding all about? Blind for the real truth. Our teachers, I'm not saying that they're not good, but they are lacking some information. Our politicians, we are affected by the many politicians, various caste-based religiousness. So they are not guiding us in a correct direction because they themselves don't know what is the absolute truth. Everyone is seeking for the truth. Nobody wants the false information. Everyone is seeking for the truth. But the people who are guiding don't know the ultimate truth. So what happens when a blind person follows a blind? All of them falls into a ditch. There is no other destination. They all fall into the ditch. So why? So what is the root cause of these things? Why we are misguided? So it is there are three reasons: lust, anger, and greed. So we want more and more. We are looking for capturing more and more. So what happens after the lust? Your relationships are spoiled. You are exploited. You take so many things. So how much salary is sufficient for us? We do not know. I want more. Lakhs, crores, millions. So we try to exploit everything. We are destroying our relationships. So because of which the mental disorders. So there are so many mental disorders happening in this. It is entirely self-inflicted. WHO says that in this century, the major disease which they are going to face is the mental disorders, like OCDs, so many psychiatric problems. That's why in Western countries, especially in US, averagely 33% of the people are going for psychiatrists. Why is happening? Because of broken relationships, because of this mental illness. We use a lot of technology. So our development is based on the technological development. We all use mobile phones, everything. So everyone have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. These are all weapons of mass distractions. They are distracting all of us. Just open Facebook. Your 2 hours of time is gone without knowing. We are completely engrossed scrolling YouTube, watching so many videos. How much of our time is wasting in that? We all have learned that time is a precious thing. The most precious thing is the time. Once you spend it without any notice, you cannot get it back, even 1 second. So these weapons are killing our own time. Every one of us 24 hours. No, successful people have 24 hours, and we also have 24 hours. So what is people of success they are getting? They use less technology. They use Facebook less. So what is the promise? Why are we attracted to technology? It gives a false promise. Karlo dunya mutti mein. So with this technology, I own the entire globe. Everything is at my hands. I click one button, food is delivered. I click one button, your nice movies are delivered. So everything is delivered. What is happening? Your egos we are suffering because of our egos. There are relationships are breaking. So this technology is boosting all of our egos. So as a result, what is happening? We are getting entertainment, but no peace. There is no, we are all having entertainment, but there is no peace. You go to movies, you may forget your problems for 3 hours, but after you come out of the movie, you face the same problem again. We all have comforts. So we have mattresses, all those things. We can get the mattresses because of technology, but there is no happiness in that. We have so many medicines. So you can see advertisements. So many medical advertisements. You get your medicine delivered in a day. You can get a medicine, but can you get any health from the technology? It is impossible. You can buy cosmetics, you can apply cosmetics, but you cannot get the youth back. Once this age passes, you cannot get back it. But we are all distracted by the false technologies. Technology is not bad. The user who using the technology has no proper guidance. If you give, what is the purpose of knife? It is to cut. You should cut vegetables, everything. So if you give that knife to a surgeon, he also cuts it, but for the benefit of the society. But when you give the same knife to a thief, he cuts the throat. Is knife good or bad? It is dependent on the user. We are all misguided by these false technologies. Not only that, our Vedic society was centered around protecting women. We, except for a wife, every other woman should be treated as mother. But today, what is happening? It is in reverse. Every other woman is like my wife. This is what our modern society is all about. And the children should be protected. Children are innocent. They should be protected. But what is happening? Today, the major problem is abortion. The child is not safe inside the womb. Inside the mother womb, if he is not safe, what is the guarantee that he is safe outside? Old people. So these three things to be protected. Chanakya Pandita, you all know that how famous he is, how he led unity of the entire India. He says you should protect women, children, and old people. But today, in the name of advancement, retirement homes, so many sophisticated technologies are coming in the home for retirement home. So children leave their old parents for others' sake, and go for the Western countries or other places. And not only that, present advancement. What is present advancement? In the name of mercy killing, people are killing the old people. They're saying, how long this old man will suffer? They're killing the old people. So is it advancement in our modern society? And not only that, you all know the career choices which you make is one of the most difficult choices you make. What should I choose? Which company should I choose? Whether I should choose engineering or medicine. If I choose engineering, which college, which stream? After that, which company? So you all have faced are going to face, or have faced the difficulties. So how did you take the choice? Based on the social pressures. Parents say, CSE is good, you take it. Engineering, you settle more faster, you take engineering. So based on the choices decided by the societies. So the boy next door is successful in medicine. You also take medicine and be successful. But what is happening? As Prabhuji said, in the Varnasrama system is nothing but psychophysical nature. We all have psychological natures. Not everyone are different by psychologically. We have all interest. One is has thinking capacity, other is having administrative capacity. So we cannot ask a person who has a thinking capacity to lead an administrative class. His purpose is to think, create new rules, new set of frameworks, new society. But if you ask him to do administration, he is not able to do it. A manager who is an administrative mentality, he cannot sit idly. He pushes the team. If you ask him to sit and code, he will not be able to code. So what is happening? There is no job satisfaction. The result of job satisfaction is, why is there job satisfaction not there is not because of the money, because the job doesn't suit my psychophysical nature, because my talent is not properly utilized in that job. When you find your job according to your talent, you will prosper. But this is not happening. We are forced to take choices by our elders or other societies. And not only that, this modern society, you can see lot of divorces and separations happening. Earlier in the Vedic society, there was no question of a divorce. The word is not there in the Vedic dictionary. But today, we see lots and lots of separations and divorces happening. So what happens? That to the children who have separated from their parents, they become enemies of the world. They become dacoits. So this is our modern society, and we are already discussed about the junk food. So many cancers we are happening because of the irregular habits. Junk food we are giving to, and not only we have unclean habits. As you see, we poke nose publicly. We sleep late at night and wake up late at night. So early to bed, early to rise makes a man wise. We have to sleep early and wake up early. But what happened today? We are sleeping at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and waking up at 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So this also reduces our mental ability, our physical strength. So these are only the few things of the modern society. In the interest of time, just I have to cut short this matter. Otherwise, we can speak and hours together. But ultimately, the basic what is lacking in the modern society is we are all external oriented. How I look externally, how my looks are, how my language looks like, how I am presenting to others. Yes, it's good. But what about the internal environment? Nobody is focusing on the internal environment, like values, like culture. So we are using technology. We are using people to love to love technology, but we have to use technology to love people. So this is our. We should focus on our internals to go deep into our roots. So with this, I would like to conclude the session. So this is why our modern society is very gloomy.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Can you all hear me? Thank you. Okay. So I think first of all, I feel so inspired seeing so many young people here.
Because all brand ambassadors are here.
Haribol, Haribol. Now, I was just thinking when I came here, I wish I was one among you when I was in 20s or 25s or something, because I'm touching 50 very soon, and I started understanding the subject very late in the part of my life. So hardly 3-4 years now, I'm trying to understand this subject and stay focused a little bit more. So when I see very, very young people getting connected at such a young age, I feel very happy. And I must tell you, you're all so blessed. You're all so blessed. If you don't know that one, please count on it. You're all so blessed. By the grace of the Lord, at a young age, you're all here. Thank you. So Sri Gopal Prabhu really spoke about, he gave a glimpse of how our Vedic society was, how beautiful it was. And we are all struggling to see here now, right? Yeah. And Santosh Aditya Prabhu talked about all the challenges what we are all facing, including you and I, what we are all facing every day, how we get kind of attracted to all these things, we get distracted. He used the word of weapons of mass distraction. I really liked it. She explained all the aspects of how we are all completely getting diverted and kind of things. Okay. So we know there was a way, and we know how we are degrading. Now, all of us wanted to really go back to that, right? Do we all want to go back and get connected to that wonderful time, right? How do we create harmony in chaos? How do we create clarity in confusion? How do we create focus in distraction? What is that we can do, that serenity among all those anxieties? How do we still stay calm? How do we kind of create all that one is going through in my mind, and I'm sure it is going through in all of your mind. See, when you are listening to the problems, what comes into the mind first is, how do I get a solution for these problems, right? We all of us know the problems. We all know the severity of the problem and how much impact and influence each problem is having on each one of us. But one part of the brain is getting succumbed to the problem. Another part of the brain is always working on what is the solution, what is the way out, and how do I come out of this problem. Is that right? Is that going on in your mind? Hare Krishna. So I think we are in the right forum. We are under the right guidance and blessings. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are now, I want to talk a few minutes about how ISKCON, the organization under which we are trying to take a shadow, under which we are coming under as an umbrella, is the real hope. Is a real hope, and almost I can say the only hope for us, especially when we are driving and surviving in this turmoil. So there is this allegory. There's one old lady. She has a beautiful cage. She has a very beautiful cage. Every day she's cleaning that cage carefully. Every day she's polishing it, cleaning it, doing everything, but not taking care of the bird inside. For years together, or let's say for months together, she was doing that. And one final day, the cage looks sparkling, but the bird died. Why? Yes, the bird. What is the most important thing there? Is the cage or the bird? Bird. And the value of the cage is there because of the bird living there. But what's happening? The lady has completely ignored the bird and was only taking care of the cage. The lady is nothing but all of us, right? So we are all taking care of our body, which is external, but we are forgetting the soul within, which is asking for, give me water, give me food, give me nourishing. But we are just ignoring that one, only taking care of the body. So today what's happening is the Maya, the influence, our desires, our deep desires. I want this, I want that. Sense gratification, 24/7, always trying to see how do I satisfy my needs. Cheating propensity, at any cost I want what I want, right? We all have some cheating propensities in different percentages. And ignoring the purpose of life, not even considering, is there God? What is our relation? Why do we need to even think about God? So that's what is happening. And in that consciousness, all of us are focusing completely on the cage, but not the bird. That means we are taking care of our external body, but not really the soul. So with this allegory, I just want to touch upon one core thing. So if you want to describe, why do I need to say describe you or something? Let me describe myself. Today, what am I? Me and mine, always thinking about that one, selfish nature. There's no contentment. How much ever we achieve. Santosh Aditya Prabhu talked about it, like 25 lakhs an annum or 50 lakhs an annum, 75 lakhs per annum. What is the salary which gives some contentment? Can we describe that one? No, we cannot describe that one. So there's no empathy. Today somebody is struggling, right? A colleague, a friend, a family member is struggling. We don't even feel for it, right? And whenever something good, great happens, we say, it's all because of me. A company is successful, it's because of me. A good project is successful, it's just because of me, not because of all my colleagues. And why do I need to have God when everything is taken care? What is He doing there, right? And everything is to satisfy me, my ego, my this one. So this is our current description of the material world, a reflection in each one of us in a particular human being, or let's say me. This is a reflection of me which is being showing there. And I wanted to get from there to something better. And I'm sure each one of us are also looking to get better. So eventually where we wanted to go, we wanted to reach a stage where we are satisfied, where we wanted to serve others. We wanted to have faith in the Lord. We wanted to share what we have. We wanted to start accepting that there is a higher power than us, the supremacy of the Lord, that we are insignificant. All this we wanted to get there eventually, that one, and depend upon the Lord's mercy. Think about Him. Think about how He's going to take care of us. That's and eventually what we are all trying to look forward to develop these kind of qualities. And how do we get there? We are under a great shelter. I really wanted to reiterate, many of you know what I'm going to speak in the next 5-7 minutes, but I felt it's an opportunity for me to repeat a little bit of what we all know. The core purpose of ISKCON, let me reiterate. I'm sure you might have heard it. Let me reiterate. To propagate the spiritual knowledge and educate everybody so that the imbalance in the values of life are taken care and the peace is achieved. Whatever United Nations cannot achieve, the world peace can be achieved by the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So to propagate the consciousness of the God, consciousness of Krishna, to propagate everywhere. And to bring the members of the society together so that we all understand that we are part and parcel of the God. So we are not on our own, we are part and parcel of the Lord. To teach and encourage the Sankirtana movement so that we always think about the glories of the Lord. To erect a holy place of Krishna. See, this is a right example. So this place, today it's been erected for Krishna and great things are happening here and we all have got an opportunity to sit under the shadow of the Lord Radha Madan Mohan, under the shadow of Radha Madan Mohan and hear some nice words from the learned people. To bring the society and the members to a simpler way of life, because we are all running to complicate our life. But at the same time, God is trying to drag us back into saying that please come on, lead a simple life. And to publish the magazines and publish all the great knowledge coming from the Acharyas. So that is the purpose of ISKCON. So ISKCON is trying to connect us back from the wicked I to a sane me. That is what ISKCON is trying to do, that one. And let me touch upon what are the various activities happening today. Number one, reinstating the Varnasrama Dharma. Sri Gopal Prabhu spoke beautifully about what was Varnasrama Dharma. I don't want to repeat that one. But just a synopsis of it is, understand what is our Varna, what is the strength we each one of us carry, and choose the right occupation so that, again, what Santosh Adisha Prabhu said, if you are able to choose the right occupation, you're happy, you feel satisfied, right? And also Varnasrama Dharma is helping us to understand that all of us do not have the same set of qualities. We are not born with the same set of qualities. Yes, all of us wanted to develop a great set of qualities. The great angas of bhakti and great qualities which Acharyas are describing. We want to develop that one, but we don't have that one. So we start appreciating the mutual dependency. It's not me alone. The four parts of the Varnas, the Brahmanical quality people, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all four put together can do any task. Can you think of a task which do not have all these four people coming together? Is there any task which only one person can do great? No. Any great task, any magnificent task, all these four needs to come together. The next comes the most important aspect of four regulative principles, right? Our organization is trying to reiterate that every day. And each one of us, when we get up and before we go to sleep, we just need to reiterate this aspect among ourselves to remind us, because the moment we step out, we see nobody following this one, right? So it is very, very important for us to kind of remind us about these four regulative principles. So the first important aspect is regulate the atyahara. Let's not overeat and let's not over accumulate. That's something which is trying to remind us each day so that we stay focused. Sense control. The outside world is talking about kul ke jivo, enjoy to the fullest. There is only one life. Live life king size. That is what we hear outside. But our organization is day in, day out reminding, come on, my friend, it is time for us to regulate our senses. For everything, please draw a line. Somewhere you have to draw a line for anything. Otherwise, it's like left out. And you, after some time, you're going to be succumbed to those senses. Then, regulating also the sex life within the marriage, not just thinking beyond it. Like Prabhuji was talking about how the Vedic society was talking about see every woman as a mother. Are we able to see that now? We all can question in our hearts. Today, are we able to see every woman as a mother or no? If not, we have to start correcting our thinking process. And then there are so many dominance of intoxicating substances today on us, right? And those are really perverting all of us. So the regulative principles are trying to, first of all, bring us back into the core focus. A car needs an accelerator and a brake, both, right? Only accelerator is not enough or only brake is not enough. You need both of them, right? So our life is all about when to accelerate, when to brake, when to accelerate, when to brake. Now, again, Prabhuji spoke a lot about simple living and high thinking. I just wanted to connect some practical examples of simple living and high thinking. Let's watch our greed. Let's start watching the greed within us. And let's start seeing life as all about sense gratification, right? Life is not just about only enjoying. There is something beyond that one. And the most important thing in today's world is we are missing expressing gratitude. Do you all feel grateful? How many of you feel every day in the morning or before you go to sleep, I am grateful to so-and-so person, right? I'm starting practicing that one. Let's start practicing the gratefulness because we are forgetting, because we feel that we are the sole reason for any success. We are forgetting our teachers. I mean, to be honest, the teacher who taught us A for apple and B for ball is also very important for us even now, because on that foundation we are now standing, right? If I talk material education, right? Today we might be talking about advanced things, we might be studying about it. But still, that fundamental thing is very, very important, who gave us the basics of understanding A for apple and B for ball. And also the great acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and great acharyas, to all the great people who come and preach here. Every week when we listen to them, we learn so much. So let us fill our life with gratefulness. If you are able to fill our life with gratefulness, automatically contentment comes in. Automatically we start feeling that since we have gained that something from others, let us start giving that grateful thing to others, right? Why are we standing here? Not that we know more than you. It's just that we learned something from our Siksha Gurus and we wanted to share that with you. And some of you are very young and you're looking forward to listen to our experience and kind of thing. So our whole disciplinic succession is all about taking from our teacher and passing to the next level people. So simplicity, many of us again have an impression that simplicity is all about external, right? We all quote about this famous example. Maybe in 500 rupees we get this attire, right? A dhoti, kurta and kind of thing, everything we can get in 500 rupees or 300 rupees. But am I simple in my heart? I know it, right? So again, each one of us need to start thinking, are we simple? I want to give you one example of simplicity. Are we getting agitated every day by seeing things, by looking at maybe senses and many other things kind of a thing? Are we getting agitated every day? So if the amount of agitation starts coming down, to that extent I can say you are having a more simple and firm foundation in your heart. I'm not saying don't have aspirations for a career, don't work hard, I'm not saying that one. But if you don't achieve, is that going to put you completely down? Is that creating suicidal tendencies in the mind if I don't achieve? I think waste of life and kind of thing. No, work hard. But at the same time, start understanding there is a higher purpose, higher power, and certain things we might get it and certain things we may not get it despite our endeavor. The moment you start accepting that that doesn't mean again leading to inaction or not doing anything and simply saying my karma will take care of me. Do your best, but at the same time, accept the result and start moving on in life. And understand we are insignificant. The problem is we all think that we are the controller, we can do everything, and we are the sole purpose on which, because this entire life is happening. That is the perspective we are happening. But the day we start thinking from a perspective, we are insignificant, not everything happening is in our control, then our head starts coming down. Until then our head and chest is like this. The moment we start accepting, slowly I think we'll start bending, right? Then with the gratitude, with this understanding, we'll start coming down. And last but not least, failure. We are not ready to accept failure. Be it a very small thing. You want to open some website and see something, it's going slow, you get restless. Starting from that small thing too, you wanted a promotion, it did not happen. Or you wanted a certain rank in certain studies, it did not happen. All these kinds of things, we are not ready to accept failure. But Hare Krishna, please believe me, that failure is a path of our stepping stone to success. It is a way of learning. It is giving us an experience. We are trying to understand from that failure, how do I correct myself? How do I face the reality again in a much more better way? So the moment we start seeing the failure as a learning, we are making progress. The moment we start seeing failure as failure, we are stuck there or we are moving one step backward. So these are some principles which will help us to develop the simple living and high thinking, and we are all taught about these principles every day. So Santosh Aditya Prabhu spoke a lot about the science of the soul and purpose of life, and the whole material education is completely from kindergarten to PG or PhD, is just not talking about this core purpose of life, right? Srila Prabhupada in one of his statements has said, this entire human civilization is preparing ourselves to become animals in our next life. This is a very strong statement, but this is true. Because from kindergarten to PhD, we are just not talking about that there is God, we are a soul, God is supreme, we have to serve Him, there is a different world, we have to go there. All these 5-6 sentences what I just spoke are not spoken from LKG to PhD, right? Have you heard any of them? And all the more getting difficult in the name of secularism now. We can't even use the word Bhagavad Gita in a school or a college. We'll be branded as somebody different people. But we are all missing the core purpose of life. That is not being taught in the school. Now, in this education, what we are receiving from ISKCON, maybe theoretically we are understanding it. It might take some years for us practice to physically or to completely understand it, that we are not just this body. We'll start understanding that everything is temporary here. It's not permanent. And the goal of life is self-realization. These are never taught anywhere. And the day one we come into this great umbrella organization called ISKCON, we are taught all these things on the day one. And that started intriguing our minds, and we started thinking, what does it mean? How do I understand it? Now, theoretically, we understood it. How do I practically understand it? And it takes a lot of sadhana over years and years. We start experiencing those great statements given by great acharyas. And can you practice something in an oblivion, or can you practice something what you heard without a right environment? We cannot practice. Even when we are talking about studies, we all do combined studies, right? Take the books and sit with a friend and study late night. Whether we really studied or not, only Krishna knows, right? But we all talk about combined studies. Anything what we wanted to do with the like-minded people. You want to play cricket, you wanted to have 10 people and you want to play with them, right? Anything you want to go to a movie, you want some few friends to come with you, right? Even to such a mundane things like that, where if you need an association, can you imagine when we are trying to practice a great dharmic life, which we don't see it outside? When we wanted to practice, how can we do that one? We need an environment to practice, right? And thankfully, ISKCON as an organization is working day in and day out from decades together to create that kind of environment. Now, whatever we learn with this group, we are able to practice. The temple programs, Bhakti Vriksha programs, all 4 of us have come together because our Siksha Guru is conducting Bhakti Vriksha programs every Sunday. We all come together from different facets of life. We met there, we understood, and then we started now sailing together with a common purpose of life. Like counseling centers, even marriage bureau, to be able to choose a life partner with the similar mindset. All these are being created. A lot of programs are happening for youth. It's a wonderful example. A lot of programs are happening for young people, boys and girls at a very, very young age, tender age, giving them about right fundamentals. So what is the right age to learn spirituality? 5, right? I thought 50. Now I understood very recently it is 5. Prahlad said in Srimad Bhagavatam that is the right time to learn about spirituality, at the age of the 5. So great temples coming up, Namahatta centers coming up, preaching centers, youth preaching centers, voice program, so many other things happening, and so much of education is being imparted day in, day out to all of us. And today we have an environment to practice what we learn. And last but not least, the most important thing, protecting cows. I understood the glories of the protection of cows very late, right? So I think it is very, very important to understand how cows are a part of our Sanatana Dharma, how serving cows is such a great thing. Go and spend, how many of you spend some time with cows? I would ask everybody, spend 15 minutes with a cow and tell how do you feel about it, right? And about the Panchagavya, the greatness of how the Panchagavya, all the cow products are helping us in health and several aspects of it, and how even our land fertility is improved with the Govar. In fact, we all say Gobar, actually it is Govar. It is a blessing. So all these things, whatever I just spoke in the last 5 minutes about trying to give us the fundamentals of spirituality, create an environment, teach, completely, there are so many role models for us to sit and practice, right? To look forward. I wanted to be like that Prabhuji, I wanted to be like that Mataji. He is able to achieve so many great things despite his busy life. He is able to do his sadhana. All these aspects will be continuously motivating us. So with this, I wanted to express my gratitude towards the organization where we are. And this is the organization which is building the gap, bridging the gap, and trying to recreate that Vedic society, right? So the society is helping us. The organization is telling us again and again that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. We have to connect to the self. We should develop our attraction and connection to the Krishna and revive our lost relationship with the Lord. All of us have had relationship, but now we lost that relationship. We need to reconnect that. And once we are able to connect to the God, then we really know what is our original position and showing us a path to go back to our back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So with this, I'm going to ask Udayananda Prabhu to give more practical insights of what I spoke theoretically. How do I put it into the real life? And Udayananda Prabhu will share from his experience. Hare Krishna. Will you come here? Yeah.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। It's prasadam time now. We'll wind up quickly. I'm not going to take more than 15 minutes for you all. First of all, my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who is sitting over here for, as Satya Prabhu has mentioned, for choosing the path of Krishna consciousness. So when I was asked to talk on this topic, I thought that, I'm going to meet new people. But when I just entered 10 minutes late, I felt like looking at all of your tilaks, I was like over jubilant. So hooray, Hare Krishna, I'm not gonna talk to new people, right? So that's the comfort that provides to me. So what we will do is we'll quickly talk 5 minutes about what is Yukta Vairagya, and then we spend rest probably 8 to 10 minutes on how to practice it with a few examples. I'll make it very simple. So yeah, when I heard of Yukta Vairagya for the first time, I was kind of little misguided. I thought with the little Sanskrit knowledge that I had, Vairagya means detachment. Yukta means, I related this to kind of young. So I thought Yukta Vairagya means getting detachment at the age of 10-15 years, or maybe 20 years. Right? So when I heard of Yukta Vairagya, I was like a little bewildered, because why would someone take detachment at the age of 15, 20 years? It's scary, right? Yeah, but this Yukta Vairagya is not gonna ask us to get detached. Rather, it's gonna ask us on how actually develop, do not be detached, but have a balanced detachment. That's what this Yukta Vairagya is gonna be. And then in turn, it is related to being Vedic in spirit and modern in appearance. So I was talking to one of my senior god brother yesterday night. I told him that I have to talk on Vedic in spirit and modern in appearance. He said, you work for Microsoft, right? So it's like Intel inside and mental outside. So so I said, Intel inside is okay, but definitely not mental outside. In ISKCON, it is not mental outside, right? So yeah, so we will talk a little bit about what is Yukta Vairagya, and then we'll look at the practical applications of it, right? Sri Gopal Prabhu very nicely talked about and glorified about India. That was like, for me, I got goosebumps. India is considered to be the golden sparrow. That one statement we can take back home today. And when Santu Satya Prabhu was talking about modern society being gloomy, one statement I liked is information, 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 but no transformation. Right? So the transformation is more important than information. If the information is half baked, that is where the problem starts. So more than information, transformation is very important. And that transformation is what this Yukta Vairagya is going to talk about. And as Satya Prabhu said, in a nutshell, what Satya Prabhu kind of talked to us is, go back home, try to go back home, back to Godhead. Right now, how do we go back home, back to Godhead? So I'm sure that after seeing your all of your tilaks, I thought that we can talk about going back home, back to Godhead, right? So how do we go back home, back to Godhead? Do we have an itinerary or flight ticket to go back home, back to Godhead? No. And first of all, we are not clear on how to go back home, back to Godhead. But luckily, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and said that Harirnama, Harirnama, Harirnama eva kevalam, Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatirinata. So in Kali Yuga, if you just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. Now, is it so easy to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? I'm over jubilant looking at so many people spending a Saturday evening. And Saturday and Sunday evenings were so precious, right? It's not possible. You ask someone for a satsang on Saturday, you will find 110 reasons. So on a Saturday, I was so grateful to you people, because you have decided to spend Saturday evening with us, right? So yeah, now is it so difficult? It is, first of all, it's not so easy to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the current era. And this 2010 to 2020, it's an era of transformation. We know, right? It's an era of transformation, not because, okay, outside if you look at it, there are a lot of technology transformations. It's like there are things like before to 2010, it's like the systems are sitting in our houses. Now we don't know where the systems are sitting, but still we are coding, because it's all cloud era. It doesn't stop there. It's an era of transformation into data science and machine learning. Recently, I was looking at a video. There was one Middle East king, and he was walking behind him, and there is a like big bazooka is like walking behind him. When I looked at it, it's a robot. And when I went into details, it said that robot is a security guard. Anyone who tries to misbehave with that king, it's gonna come and give a slab. How can we believe it? If it's like robots are. I mean, if the programmer, if he's of a programmer of my kind, had he introduced a bug in it, it will beat everyone to dust, right? So. It is not just a technology transformation era. In addition to that, it's an era of even diseases. We have seen COVID, first wave, second wave, third wave. We don't know how many more waves are gonna come, right? So with all these problems, can we go back home, back to Godhead? Can we go back home, back to Godhead? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was expecting a different answer, because thinking that the quorum is different, but the quorum is in ISKCON. So yes, we can go back home, back to Godhead. But just to understand a little more in details, so it is when we kind of try to get attached too much to the technologies are gonna drive us. For example, I was driving my car from office around 12:30 in the night, some few days back, and I thought I'll listen to one of the Maharaj's lecture. I opened YouTube. You know what it was suggesting me? It was suggesting taggedaledu. That's what it's suggesting. And if not taggedaledu, then what is the other song? Ooh antava. So you get that song. So the problem is, say you have gotten a problem, you want to solve it. Say some simple code you've written and then you want to solve the problem. Now you go and look at YouTube for the problem. It gives a solution for sure. Even Google, it gives a solution for sure. Along with that, it will give you 110 more problems. What are those 110 more problems? After half an hour, you will not even remember why you have come to YouTube. Right? It'll take you, I mean, even if you have time, it'll take you till morning also. Right? So with these things, can we come back to Godhead? Absolutely not possible. So what is the solution? Any solution we have for this? One is Vairagya. There is a famous thing that we have in our so-called Hindu mythology, right? Vairagya. You take detachment, go to forest. Do we have a forest in Hyderabad? So where do you go and chant? When I was working in Oracle in 2006, 5 and 6, I was like, when I had to go from Mahidipatnam to high-tech city, I was scared when I was coming back from office at 8 o'clock. Because there was no, when I look back from east, west, north, south, no one is there around. I just have to drive alone on the bike. And so I used to find someone coming in a car and then I used to come behind the car. Because of, worry, don't know who's going to come and rob you off in 2005. The road is so empty. It was like a forest then. But now you don't find any forests. So where do you chant? Can we? No. So is there any other option? There are no forests to go and chant. But on the other hand, even if you find a forest and go back and try to do some meditation, again, you have already tasted this mobile phone, you have tasted this YouTube. So you will tend to come back. You can't sustain there for long. Right? So we will tend to come back. So what is the simple solution? So here in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I think there is a space missing. 1.2.255. Anasaktasya Vishyan Yatarhamopajinjate Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. What does it mean? The Vairagya of that person who employs objects suitable for devotional development while remaining detached from them is said to be suitable for bhakti. The object should be persistently related to Krishna. So now we don't have to find a forest to run away and then do chanting. Right? We can still do our regular duties. The best example is Krishna and Arjuna. Right? In the battlefield, Arjuna said, no, I can't fight. But what Krishna said? No, you have to fight. Now Krishna said, I don't want to fight. When Krishna said, you have to fight, Krishna said, you have to fight for me, fight for dharma. Right? So if you want, when we think of going back to Godhead, definitely we cannot practice Vairagya. So one of the options that we have is Yukta Vairagya. In fact, after Arjuna was instructed by Krishna, his energy and potency, performance, everything became multifolded. His arrows were like, skiing through 100 trunks of the trees and hitting the enemy. Right? That is the capacity that you get when you get. Now we don't. Now, how can we expect to get such kind of energy and power? All that we have is ISKCON and senior devotees, God brothers, Siksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, Prabhupada. So these are the things that we can actually go through to become better. Right? Now there is a nice discussion that Prabhupada did once. So in the discussion, what Prabhupada says is he gives a nice example about Yukta Vairagya. So this example I have put in here to make it more simpler. Say there is a gang of robbers who stole a bank. And then they're driving at 80 miles an hour. And the speed limit on that road is only 40 miles an hour. Now cop car comes and it looks at the signboard. It's only 40 kilometers an hour. Can it only run at 40 and chase the robbers? No. So though the rule is to go at only 40 miles an hour, the cop car had to cross 80 miles an hour and catch the robbers and then get back the money. Right? So this is how we had to use our whatever skill set, technology and things like that, and then get rid of being misguided and practice devotional service to go back to Godhead. Now, I mean, there is a lot to talk, but what I'll do is I'll try to make it more simple, probably giving a couple more examples. So these are the few examples. I don't know how many of you are aware that, even Obama had some spiritual insight. So now we can see clearly, right? Yogi Adityanath, he was actually fighting a lot. The reason why I put in this slide over here is even when people we used to think politics are dirty, but even in politics you can practice Yukta Vairagya. There is a sloka, right? Yadyad acharati shrestha tattadeva tarojana, right? So even in politics, people are becoming role models to practice devotional service, right? So if you look at Modi, he was like, this picture is about he was instilling Bhagavad Gita. And if you look at it on the second picture, he was giving Harti. But when he went to United States to interact with the Western, what did he do? He wear nice blazer. But at the same time, did he start eating non-vegetarian food? No. This picture, I think, was taken when he went to United States during Vijayadashmi. And in fact, during that Vijayadashmi, he does fasting, and then he was strict with, he maintained the diet also. And coming to Obama, what you see in his hand is a small Hanumanji Vigraha, right? Hanumanji thing. So this was a interview that was captured by one of the US Times, New York Times channel. And the interview went in such a way that when the interviewer asked Obama, he said that I carry this Hanuman idol and touch it when I'm in depression or when I become indecisive. So see the clarity that the leaders have. So now when you look at this idol in his hand, are you gonna think that he's gonna kind of more secular, or do you think that he's using weapons in right direction? Definitely he's using weapons in right direction, right? These are very few examples like this. We have many examples. We have recently one professor in IIT, I think IIT, which one is? Orissa has an IIT, right? Is it Bhubaneswar? Yeah, I think Bhubaneswar, Orissa, in Orissa, IIT Bhubaneswar had gotten a director who is a devotee. He recently became a director. And he can cook to 1,000 people once. Can we believe it? He became a director of IIT, Indian Institute of Technology. That is the topmost, IITs are the topmost institutes in India, right? And he became a director of it. And I know one professor from whom I actually started my journey. He was a professor emeritus in IIT Delhi, and now he is a working professor in Georgia Tech University. Right? So people are really skiing through. I mean, you don't need to just go to forest and then practice. You can as well be a devotee and practice devotional service pretty well. And on top of that, even ISKCON is promoting a lot, right? So if you look at this slide, these pictures I have taken from Gurukul Mayapur. Right? If you see people in Gurukul Mayapur, they are trained 360 degrees. When I say 360 degrees, they are trained on studies, Vedic studies as well as materialistic studies, and they are trained on how to give harati, how to play mridanga, how to do kirtan, how to play kartal, how to even ride horse. When I took this picture, I was taking it from a YouTube recording, and that horse was probably riding at 60 or 70 kilometers an hour. You know, that devotee was flying when I took that, captured that thing, right? So they are trained 360 degrees. So even ISKCON is promoting a lot and practicing it, right? Yeah, and apart from that, how can we actually use technology? So this is the, can anyone identify this? Which picture it is? TOP, yeah, Temple of Planetarium, right? So when we want to use these technologies, we can definitely use these technologies to attract more and more people. Why do we have to attract more and more people? Radharani will be happy, right? I mean, once I asked one of my senior godbrother, why do you want to preach so much? I was like, I think I was 16 years at that time. I asked him, why do you preach so much day in and day out? Every time I'm scared of meeting you. He said that I want to go back to Goloka. When I go, I want to take my friend also so that I can play badminton there, he said, right? So that is very important. When we go back, we have to take people along with us so that Radharani will be happy, right? So we can, use our technologies to build websites for, probably communicate devotional content. And even for that matter, if you look at the PPTs that we have done over here, this PPT, I have done it in probably, how much time it took? Probably 2 hours. Not even 2 hours. I mean, to prepare the content, it might be 2 hours, but actually to enable with all the background effects and all, for all the 40 slides that we have talked now, I didn't take much time. So we have to use technology, but when we use it, as Santu Sahitya Prabhu said, when you try to use knife, you should use it for surgery, not for killing the throat, right? So we can actually definitely have a lot of opportunities to use our technological strength and learnings, and then take everyone towards back to Godhead, right? So the summary are the benefits that we get out of it is attract more and more people towards the service of God, and you will get multifolded efficiency with peace. How do you get multifolded efficiency? Here is the example of Krishna instructing Arjuna to perform better and find the inner fulfillment and achieve right to eternal life and happiness. It's going to be very blissful, right? If we all stop the rat race and work with right spirit, the life is going to be very blissful. And as the second session went off, the modern society is very gloomy. In the sadly misled modern world, this may be the only hope to usher in harmony and happiness. right? And going back home, back to Godhead, Hari Bol. So that's it. I think that's what I have for today. And again, time and again, I want to say thanks, and I'm very grateful for you all spending time over here. As Santosh Prabhu, its average age is 29 years, but we hardly find people with 29 years sitting in a forum like this, right? I'm really, really thankful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So at this moment, I was feeling so bad that we had to end here. But I just wanted to ask if anybody has one quick question. Yeah, we have a right hand up. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My question is, our our modern technologies uses our Vedic concepts or not? So you are expert in machine learning and all. So in machine learning, we uses algorithms and all. So that algorithms depends on our Vedic concepts or not? So I want to confirm.
Yeah, very nice question. Thank you for asking this question. When I studied my master's in Indian Institute of Science, I had one senior. His name is Anshumali, and that person has set up a company in machine learning. It's called Sankhya Sutra Labs. So he set up, when he set up that Sankhya, the main inspiration for him to set up that Sankhya Sutra Labs company is, machine learning depends a lot on Sanskrit, and he is minting on that. So if you're talking about machine learning, if your mind at peace, machine works very well. But if your mind is not at peace, that machine creates havoc. So definitely, in fact, machine learning was there in, even in Dwapara Yuga also, but we did not realize it. There were flying saucers. Do we know that? How did it work? There are flying saucers, the planes that were flying. They were there. And what is that airplane name that Ravana stole? Puspaka Viman. That used to fly on its own. Without machine learning, how can it fly? It was there, but it was buried. As Prabhuji mentioned, after 15th century, everything was like we were exploited and extracted with that iron compressors. That was the problem. Yes, machine learning was there and in fact, the machine learning those days is much. You should go back and read Ramayana and how the fights happened between Ram and Ravan. The weapons that were used, we can't even imagine, right? If you go to Ahobilam, you should go to Ugrastamba. Right? If you look at those walls or the structures, those structures are really look like walls. They're not mountains. They are like wall structures, but the walls are so high and huge in those eras. Right? Yeah, machine learning was there in ancient days also. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I understand that many of you may have questions. And we don't want to lose the opportunity that all of you don't interact with Prabhuji's. So we will have, we'll seek permission from Prabhuji, request from Prabhuji that we'll have dancing kirtan now. And after that, all four of them will be available. And all of you, by any hook and crook, please go and ask. All of you may be remembering on 1st January, we had a session called Lifestyle Management, and that was given by Leelanand Prabhu. And Prabhuji, all four of them are part of Prabhuji's team. And you can see little glimpse of Leelanand Prabhu in there. So we are very happy and we are very thankful to all of them for coming here and spending time. And during Prasadam time also, all of them will be available and you can ask them any questions related to the topic or from your personal life also. So all of them have excelled in their life. They have their families, they have their work, and they are apart from that, they are spending time for all of us. So I was in one of the talks, one of them were telling that we are so unfortunate that we have not came to such forum in this age. But very important is to understand that even though we have come, we cannot match what they are doing right now. So we'd like to thank all of them by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So I will request Tarun Mohan Prabhu, Achyut Gopal Prabhu, we want to give a small gift for them. So we have ISKCON Youth Services diaries. We want to gift one diary to them. Yeah. So it was such a amazing time where all the audience was stuck to the presentation, to what they were speaking, and I was just remembering that we have our lifestyle. There was one slide where it was mentioned simple living and high thinking. But you know what is our tagline? No, simply living, hardly thinking. So, but all of us gave us lot of insight so that we can also become like them. We also want to thank all the participants. We have some new participants who have joined us first time here. Those who have joined first time, you can stand at your place. First time you have come for this program, you just stand on their place